A squadron of special forces was reinforced with the task of halting further exploitation of the LTT attack. Special forces teams maneuvered into the area and successfully accomplished the mission, destroying the remaining terrorists and regained control. There were instances where the elite forces concentrated their attacks or the operations in particular areas behind LTT positions in order to isolate them, thereby created favorable conditions for infantry troops to capture those areas. For example, capturing of the LTT stronghold at Madu was made very much easier by special forces cutting off LTT reinforcement and supply lines directed or leading towards Madu area. In certain crucial stages, the elite forces assisted infantry in leading their fighting columns to decisive locations in the battlefield. As an example, throughout the Vidatalthi battle, commandos operating ahead of infantry columns constantly engaged with the LTT during daytime and moved forward stealthily at night and occupied blocking positions. And on the next day, the infantry moved up and linked up with the commando blocks. This process was repeated until the capture of entire Vidatalthi area. For another example, in the Akkarayankulam battle, special forces guided the infantry columns in a night move up to the designated ford locations, paving way for the infantry troops to capture that area. Whenever the operations reached a crucial or a decisive point, the elites had a major role to play. And it was the commandos and special forces who spearheaded the two infantry columns in the biggest ever rescue operation by rupturing enemy defenses from two different locations and opening up two break-in points. The art of long-range patrols is a stunning tactical part that can be regarded as the most dreadful operational pattern of special forces or the special operations. Such teams are the combination of multi-skilled individuals who are well-trained and motivated to conduct deep operations in small groups, independently, without resupply, for an extended period, up to about 20 days or more, depending on caches. When offensives began in the northern theatre, initially the troops were inducted from Vavuniya, Mana and Valio areas. Now these are the furthest points from the LTT headquarters and their main bases that are located in Kilinochchi and Mullaitivu. Terrorists enjoyed a greater freedom of movement within the area in between. Long-range patrols, or LERPs as they are commonly known, executed a long-term, well-coordinated series of operations to deny this freedom to the LTT. LERPs slowly but surely established their long-term surveillances and caches in the area and updated the intelligence picture. And based on the intelligence, they started attacks, giving a devastating blow to the LTT. They killed a number of top-level LTT cadres, thereby distanced their leaders from their frontline fighting cadres, which became a major blow to the LTT top leadership. Now, to counter this threat posed by the LERPs, the LTT had to commit thousands of their cadres to guard their rear. Let me now share with you some of the aspects considered during planning and execution of deep operations by the LERPs. LERPs depended mostly on their own intelligence to plan operations. Collection of information was done through tactical maneuvering in LTT-controlled areas for days and months. Acquired information is then preserved in an intelligence cell, and detailed continuation of study had been carried out prior to selection of targets. Rather than relying much on electronic means of information collection, unless other than satellite images, the clandestine ways of information collection were carried out by the LERPs, and that was a tremendous success in the battlefield. Due to the scarcity of water resources found in the operational area, and also due to the inability of resupply by air, the LERPs had to depend heavily on caches. Cache operations, which preceded other LERP operations, gained constant continuity of operations deeply in the enemy-held territory throughout the campaign. And this these caches contain mainly rations, ammunition, water, and medicine. And our concept was to have caches established at least in every 10 square kilometers to cater for planned operations and for emergency situations. The ground itself is a surveillance pit to the LERPs. Throughout the battle, the highest possible battle skills, moreover supported by mental robustness in soldiering, had been the essence of collecting everything from the LTT that could destroy them without disturbing the civilian habitat. And in most occasions, LERPs established surveillance posts well ahead of the advancing infantry divisions on most likely approaches of the LTT and continued to provide valuable information to these divisions. LERP operations were deliberately planned to have their patrols spinning from one range of operations to another range of operation. Change in missions, but not the modus operandi. It is a cycle of operations having constant circular affiliation with each other. One team which confronts the enemy may instantly find a team on a surveillance mission replacing another team on a cache mission. Hence, the LERP missions were launched in such a time frame that the patrols were available in such proximity to be able to help each other in case of an emergency. Ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that Sri Lanka Air Force operated closely and directly in connection with the LERPs. A very good understanding between the pilots and the LERP team leaders was achieved through a series of joint exercises. It was a standard operational procedure that the Sri Lanka Air Force maintained a dedicated rescue fleet of helicopters whenever the LERPs were out on daring missions. LERPs encountered 5 emergency situations where they either sustained casualty or got cut off. In all these situations, the Air Force assistance was sought to save the lives of these men in danger. All 5 air rescue missions ended successfully. Let me now show you a short video clip of one such air rescue mission extricating casualties from a point about 60 kilometers deep into the enemy held territory. Reasons for the success of operations of elite forces could be attributed to many factors. However, the good junior leadership and the excellent standard of battle discipline are the main factors. They were beyond comparison to any army in the world, and this precious gathering should feel and understand how important good junior leadership and battle discipline, apart from battle efficiencies, are to determine success if things are truly supportive. If elite forces are to operate in support of infantry, the supported infantry units should have confidence in elite forces. And similarly, The elite forces also should be able to depend on infantry. This mutual confidence and interdependence was seen throughout the campaign. By conducting well-focused attacks on high-value targets in the depth, particularly on LTT leadership, thereby distancing them from their frontline cadres and threatening LTT's rear, to force them to commit its reserves and extra cadres, to protect the vital places such as airfields and their lines of communications, the elite forces were able to gain a strategic advantage for the overall campaign. Present-day warfighting emphasizes so much on the usage of high-tech to replace human efforts. Continual research and development on such high-tech equipment are taking place. However, there is a limit that the human skills can be supplemented by technology. Unfortunately, no researches have been done on this issue to date. The elite forces of Sri Lanka rely principally on human skills, blended with little equipment and technology. Skill and will being the policy due to compelling economic constraints. The fact that our Special Operations Forces have achieved these remarkable feats with minimum technology and optimal human skills is admirable and gives it a unique place in the Special Forces community of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to add before I conclude that the whole sequence of innovative application of military power, blending conventional and unconventional concepts designed to defeat the LTT at his own game, paved the way for victory. The elite forces of the Sri Lanka Army, deployed at the sharp end of the strategy, took the fight to the dead and safe areas of the LTT and their critical assets, and finally, to the mines of the LTT. Special Operations Forces facilitated the military effort and created the conditions for the successful outcome of this campaign. Thank you.